Hey babe, welcome back to the Beat the Binge video series. This is part 2 of a free 3-part video series designed to give you insight and practical tools to help you overcome binge eating and to start the journey of healing your relationship with food. In part 1, we talked about the binge eating cycle and we started practicing being aware of the triggers that start our binges and how we can heal them in a way that is going to really nip the cycle in the bud. Today, I want to talk to you about the next model that just made so much sense to me. Before we get into that, I want to tell you a little story. When I was really young, I was 10 years old, I decided I needed to lose weight. I wasn't happy in my body, I was getting teased for being fat, and I just knew I had to lose weight. In my mind, I thought if I lose weight, my problems will go away. But I didn't really know what to do. And so I looked to the TV, I looked to the magazines, and everything they were telling me was about some new diet that was going to miraculously give me the body of my dreams. And being 10 years old, that's what I wanted more than anything. And so I did the diets, and then it failed. And so I did another diet, and then that failed. And then I did another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, until I just fell into a heap in a mess with a nasty eating disorder, feeling so confused and overwhelmed, not anywhere closer to my dream body, and just feeling worse than ever. This went on for years. And the thing is, the diet industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry with a 99% fail rate. It is an industry that thrives off getting you to cut off the connection to your inner wisdom and get you to rely on something outside of you. Some meal plan, some diet pills, some shakes, some meal replacement, some new type of crunch. Anything outside of you because they know better than you. And all that does is just create more and more distance between yourself and your inner wisdom. And that's where we get really lost and confused in our journey to overcoming binge eating and to healing our relationship with food. And when it comes to diets, there is a pattern that we see, or that I see in the fitness industry, like almost daily. And that is the seesaw effect. And this is what I want to teach you today. So I want you to imagine for a moment that you've got a seesaw. And on one side of the seesaw, you've got good old deprivation. And on the other side, old mate, guilt. Yep, deprivation and guilt. And so what happens when we go on a diet? We jump on the seesaw and we decide, you know what, I'm going to eat really healthy. I'm not going to have takeaway, I'm not going to have chocolate, I'm going to go to the gym every day. And so we start this diet and the deprivation starts to go up. We're being really good and we're just doing everything right. We're training all the time. We're not eating anything bad. The deprivation goes up. And what happens when you're on a seesaw? When one side goes up, the other side has to go down. Now, when the seesaw is as high as it can get, it has to come back down, right? And usually when deprivation is at its highest, it's around the 2-3 week, maybe if you're like really pushing it, 4 weeks in on the diet. Deprivation's at an all-time high and we think, you know what? I've been so good. I'm going to treat myself. I'm just going to have one cookie. Just one. It's fine. So we have that cookie and our guilt is an all-time low because we've been so freaking good. But then what starts to happen is we've been so deprived and we start to loosen the reins a little bit and we start to eat more of the naughty foods and then we start to feel guilty. We're starting to kind of slide back into old habits. The deprivation is being relieved, but our guilt is really creeping up till all of a sudden, oh my God, the reins have completely let loose. I'm eating everything inside. I can't control myself. I'm right back where I started and I just can't stop eating and I feel so guilty that I'm right back where I started. And then we're like, guilt's at an all-time high. I feel like crap. So then again, we go on the diet, we deprive until we can't take it anymore. And then we start to eat everything in sight and we just go up and down, back and forth. That is no way to live, but that is how so many of us are living. But the only way to stop this effect is to get off the seesaw. The thing is, so many of us are scared to get off that seesaw because this seesaw, as crappy as it is, it's what we know. It's what we've been taught. And the only reason we stick to that seesaw, the only reason we keep going back to diet after diet after diet, or what some people like to call it, which is like a sneaky word for a diet, is a healthy lifestyle, is because we don't know what else to do. We go back to these things because we don't know how to listen to ourselves. We don't know how to hit our goals without that deprivation and without that guilt and without the grueling feelings of pushing ourselves. But I can tell you from experience that it is possible. So I want to offer you an antidote to this. Getting off the seesaw is one thing, but then what? When I first started my nutrition training, I read a quote that said, "All or nothing always ends up as nothing." And that to me was one of the truest things I've ever read. In any diet I did, I went all in, I was hard out, and then I would crash and burn and I'd be right back where I started and it would end up as nothing. So instead of going all in and restricting everything and making it really difficult to even be able to go and eat with friends because everything's so strict, how about you just try and make things just a little bit better? So if you go out to eat with your family or your friends, instead of ordering the boring chicken Caesar salad that you don't really want, how about you still get that parma, but have it with a salad instead? Or you get a chicken wrap and have some chips. Or instead of Coke, you get some water. Or instead of eating a whole block of chocolate, you buy like a single serve. You can eat whatever you want. You can enjoy the treats of life. You can go out and connect and have a slice of birthday cake and celebrate with a cocktail. You can do all these things without the guilt. You are allowed to do whatever you want. And what you'll notice, not straight away, but over time, is that you won't want the unhealthy food or the non-nutritious food as much anymore, because you'll notice you don't feel as good eating that stuff. That the only reason it seems so good is because you were so deprived that you just felt restricted and you had to break out of those shackles. But when you're allowed to, eventually you're happy to say no or to have a little bit. Now, honestly, this really does not happen overnight. It does take time. But start with what we learned in part 1 of identifying your triggers, starting to heal those triggers, which again is a process. And then instead of trying to be perfect and do everything right, just be a little bit better, a little bit healthier. Every time, just a little bit. Those small incremental changes add up to big results. You don't lose 10 kilos overnight. It happens over a period of time through consistency, and consistency over perfection wins every single time. Every time. I trust this serves you. If you have any questions or if you would love to share your insights and your learnings and your breakthrough moments with me, I would love to hear them. You can contact us on Instagram at Bliss Fitness Oz, AUS, or on our Facebook page, Bliss Fitness Australia. I hope you're doing great. I hope that you are gaining so much from this, and I hope you have a wonderful day.